Hey, Dustin Vanoy here. I just wanted to take a quick moment to share that the serverless connectivity for Visual Studio Code Extension from Databricks is now available. And so this just came out. I don't have a ton of here's best practices, here's the things to watch out for yet, but I wanted to just give you a quick glimpse at what it looks like so that you can know whether or not you should go and retest what you've done with Visual Studio Code Extension in the past with this new connectivity. So essentially what you're going to do is go into Visual Studio Code, go to your extensions and make sure that this is updated. It might have updated automatically like mine. You can always click right here and then go and double check if there's any options for updating. Now, once you have this updated, of course, you will see something slightly different, which is what I want to call out. You may actually notice some other things related to the updates that have nothing to do with serverless too. So when I choose here, you may have been using a cluster in the past. Serverless was not an option. You should still have a list of clusters you can choose from. You can still do everything the way you've been doing it, or you can go and choose serverless. Using serverless, really the benefit is you get this really fast spin up of the compute you want, and you don't have to think about which node types to use and how much to let it auto scale. Now it is going to scale up if you run a big workload. So you'll want to take a look at monitoring the cost in system tables to make sure that you understand what it does cost to use serverless from your Visual Studio Code extension versus using a classic cluster that you've been using in the past. Let's take a look at this in action. For a regular Python file, I can use my Databricks button and either run it the full file with Databricks Connect or debug or run as a workflow. Let's start with debug. So we can see it pop up the debug window and it did set some local variables as expected. Now, if I resume, it's going to use serverless for the Spark commands. And I can see the output right here in the terminal, which is what you would expect when running debug mode. Let's look at what it's like to run this as a workflow. I can see on the right side, it tells me it's running on serverless. It's going to show me the status and duration. Once it completes, we can take a look at the output here. There we go. So it took a minute to run, but notice it didn't have to start up any compute ahead of time. It was a pretty quick startup of the serverless compute. And I could always go to the workspace to monitor those details by clicking this Run ID link. All right, that was running a Python file as a workflow. If I jump over to a Jupyter notebook, in this case, I've got the similar type of Spark session set up. I can go ahead and run the full thing as a workflow. And that'll be a very similar experience to what we just saw. So let's skip ahead to the results to show that it worked. And here's our notebook results. Now I can also run this cell by cell. Notice that still ran quickly and brought my results right back here to this same file. So that's our quick glimpse at serverless. Definitely explore, see what is different about using a cluster versus this, and make sure that you check out how to monitor those costs using either system tables queries or by setting up one of the cost dashboards that will show you the breakdown of serverless costs, just so you know what the difference is using this versus classic compute, which probably wouldn't be set to scale as much for your development environment. Thanks for joining. Please subscribe to this channel if this was helpful. See you next time.